Imagine spending your life in a stone watchtower with maps of every disaster, plagues, accidents, financial ruin. Your hand is gripped on the warning bell. Outside, the world is quiet. Fields are blooming. Neighbors are going about their day. But you can't see that. You haven't slept in years because you operate under a certainty. A catastrophe is coming, and you will be powerless to stop it. Calm feels more dangerous than a crisis because calm means you stopped watching. In schema therapy, this state of high alert is known as the vulnerability to harm or illness schema. This hypervigilance usually targets 3 specific zones: medical catastrophe, where you interpret every headache as a tumor; external disaster, where the world outside feels like an accident waiting to happen; and emotional collapse, where a spike in anxiety feels like a total mental breakdown. This schema creates a belief that existence itself is fragile. You are living in a minefield, and you are the only one who sees the bombs. This level of hypervigilance does not develop in a vacuum. It is a learned response to an environment that felt unsafe. It often begins with caregivers who modeled fear by catastrophizing minor symptoms, restricting activities beyond what safety required, or passing down hypervigilance from their own trauma. This diagram shows how a child's nervous system calibrates to an unstable world. The threat meter spikes, and the mechanism is locked into position, preventing the needle from returning to baseline. When safety is an illusion, turning off the alarm feels like a fatal mistake. The dread you feel as an adult is an obsolete childhood survival mechanism still running in the background. It is a defense for a world you no longer live in. This schema is maintained by a specific psychological trap. The sentry believes their constant watching is the only thing keeping them alive. When panic hits, you perform a check to find safety. You Google a symptom, you avoid a highway, or you check the stove knobs. For a few seconds, your heart rate slows and you feel a sense of relief. This loop shows why that relief is a trap. By engaging in the check, your brain interprets the behavior as evidence that a genuine threat was actually present. You have provided your own confirmation of danger, which leads to a sharper spike in anxiety later. As the cycle accelerates, safety-seeking becomes threat-confirming. The more you watch for the storm, the more certain you become that the storm is coming. The irony is that trying to guarantee safety makes you feel more vulnerable. The vigilance doesn't prevent the catastrophe, it just keeps you in a state of emergency. To manage this inner alarm, adults typically adopt one of 3 coping strategies. First is surrender, or the obsessive scanner. These individuals accept the anxiety as justified, spending their days monitoring news and body sensations, unable to participate in the present moment. Second is avoidance, the bubble builder. They shrink their world into a narrow, safe zone, refusing to travel or try anything unfamiliar until their life becomes very small. Third is overcompensation, the reckless denier. They adopt a false bravado, ignoring actual health concerns or taking unnecessary risks to prove the fear has no power over them. Despite how different these look, they are all driven by what clinicians call the terrified child mode. In this state, the adult loses access to their logic and feels as defenseless as they did in childhood. These strategies fail because they keep the child self trapped in the past. They try to solve the fear by staying in the tower, rather than learning how to leave it. Recovery is not about convincing yourself the world is 100% safe. It is about changing how you relate to the concept of risk. Healing requires developing the healthy adult, the part of you that can look at the terrified child in the watchtower and offer a different perspective. This mode shifts the brain from predicting catastrophes to assessing probabilities. To build this, you have to shatter the demand for absolute certainty. This scale shows the shift. You replace a rigid need for no risk with a flexible ability to assess risk and probability. You strengthen this adult perspective through graduated exposure. By slowly facing feared situations, you prove to your nervous system that the catastrophe does not materialize, and even if a challenge arises, you can survive it. Safety is not found in the impossible task of preventing all threats. It is found in building trust in your own resources to manage life as it happens. Recovery is the moment the sentry decides to release the rope. It is the choice to stop pulling the warning bell. You discover that the world does not end when the watching stops. The sun still rises, and life continues, even without your vigilance. The sentry was placed in that tower by someone who loved you, but feared the world. You can climb down now, not because the world is perfectly safe, but because you are more capable of handling it than you were ever taught to believe.